owner and you are looking to gain more clients, create more impact and more revenue in your business, tune in to Amplify Your Marketing Message with Campbell Rapin. Every week, we're going to take you through how to build an audience of buyers, mastering your marketing message, and making offers that convert consistently. We'll see you all on the inside. I will tell you a fascinating stat that one of my clients who is in the video space shared with me recently, and that was 87% of buyers move more quickly to a purchase decision when they have seen video. Video is an incredibly important part of your business. And we're going to take a unique lens and look at that today by talking about the power of video testimonials. In particular, not just having them, but how do you use them to be effective at fueling your business growth? I'm super excited to introduce to you a great new friend in my network. Please give a very warm welcome. This is Mischa Zvegintzov. I am getting really close to that last name every time I try it. But welcome, Mischa. We're super excited to have you here. This is a world that you've built an entire reputation around, video testimonials. Talk to us a little bit about how you got to be known as the video guy.
Yeah, absolutely. The testimonial guy. You can actually, I even have a .com, testimonialguy.com. It became so prevalent that people knew that I was obsessed with testimonials, right? So ask me the question again. I'm sorry. I'm going to try not to go into the weeds, and you disappeared.
Absolutely. So I want to know, how did you start to realize the power and got to be the guy who was orchestrating video testimonials, not only for your own business, but on behalf of others as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I jumped into the digital marketing world about 5 years ago after retiring successfully from mortgages. I was in sales for 20 years, door to door telemarketing, all that fun stuff. And I quit. I had retired, got my kids through high school, reemerged in digital marketing. Okay, and so being OCD or obsessive compulsive or whatever you want to say, I dove head in and started paying to go to all these masterminds and joining all these online marketing coaching groups, and literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And I'd see all these funnels and I'd see all these coaches selling things and courses and all this stuff, and the people that were super successful at it were getting their customer stories, right? We're getting their customer testimonials. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I saw this massive gap between those who were getting them and those who weren't. So did I answer your question there? Yeah.
You absolutely did. And I think this is interesting because we talk about video and that video should just be a given, because it should be just a given, but it is about adding, I would say, almost that special sauce, which is, what are you going to do with it? What is the strategy behind it? And why does it matter? And what I'm hearing for you is the big differentiator is not just do it, but do it exceptionally well. And the foundation of exceptionally well is about story. So when you started to build, this momentum or this insight created movement for you in your business, it led to the question, which everyone says, I'd love to, but how do I actually get people on camera talking about my business? Give us some tips and strategies around that first big puzzle, because the theory is a gold nugget for sure, but the execution sometimes, as you're rightly putting it, is a bit hit and miss.
Absolutely. And first off, number one thing to know, and there's a few key things to know. Number one is that our customers want to give us their testimonials. They do, and they're ready to do it on video. Most do, and I don't care what industry you're in. I've heard people, weight loss industry or sensitive coaching subjects and things like that, or maybe trauma. People have customers who are in trauma, right? And they're like, my customer isn't going to want to talk about that or isn't going to want to say their name. But that is not true at all. Our customers want to tell us how we've transformed their lives, right? So I would tell everybody listening, just know that your customer wants to give you their story, right? And I would ask you, Christine, who's your biggest mentor that's influenced you? in your
You
life?
know, for me, I've had a lot of people. I worked with everything from the big gurus and in the on the personal development space. We've talked this before offline. You know, Dean Graziosi actually has me in one of his video testimonials, and I have been in booklets that share the stages with Dean and Tony. And I think it's interesting to talk about that because, you know, so often we're hiding when we don't have transformation and we're just owning the problem. But the moment we're done, if we've had a great experience and we're building momentum, I honestly think it means just be a good human and give back, because I think that's an awesome place just to start with. And then from there, it's help them see what was going on behind the scenes that maybe they didn't see. Because so often, this is where on the other side of the camera, it can be so illuminating to go, really? So much of that went over my head the time I
Yeah,
was involved in it, and I think it's great. So yes, my big gurus that I definitely, you know, certainly encountered a lot in my early days. I went with people who were exceptional at what they did, and video is
absolutely.
what influenced
Yeah.
my decision, and that's why I was prepared and willing to give back and have my face on their platforms.
And probably excited too. Like I know my mentors, I'm excited to be associated with them. And I think that that's what people lose track of, is that people are excited to be associated with us, especially if we've helped them have that transformation, right?
I have a funny story about that because I was involved in an event. It was one of the earlier events, maybe 3 years ago. And I had provided testimonial, both written at that time. It was first written. And I didn't go through the notebook. Here it is. I'm owning it. When I get sent a notebook, I do not read the notebook end to end at the beginning. It's not my thing. I haven't, usually not. And I was at an event, day 2 of 3, like I was on the tail end of it. And someone said, "Your name's really familiar. Are you the one in the notebook?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" Get my notebook up. And sure enough, I'm in the notebook. I
Yeah.
am in the notebook with them on the cover. And I'm like, I didn't even know. I sat on this secret for weeks. But it was really funny because other people recognized my name. And of
Yeah.
course, I have a bit of an unusual one like you do. So it was like, chances are it's you. And I was like, oh, how funny. I didn't even know that I
Yeah.
was in it.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh,
Oh
embarrassing."
my gosh. It's one of my favorite things. I was, I love funnels and funnel sales and all that, and online funnels, and so I was very involved with Russell Brunson and a bunch of his masterminds and his coaching groups, and he's got a thing called Mastermind in Paradise where 600 people go or whatever. And you get interviewed for these testimonials, and I was always excited to do it. And then when the emails start coming in where people do just what you're talking about, right? Where you get they're like, "Mischa, you're in the testimonial,
You
you're
made
in
the
the
highlight
sizzle
reel.
reel. Yeah, you made the highlight reel." We're always so excited, but yeah. So number one is just know that your customers they do want to give you their testimonies, and then number two is I like to get what are called heart-centered testimonials. So I'm telling the people that I'm interviewing, um, when my customers, I'm like, hey, just be authentic, right? Like, you don't have to spin it. I'm not looking for fluff or hype. I just want the truth of the matter, you
Mm.
know? And so I try to encourage, let the people know when I'm getting the testimonial that don't say anything that's not true. Like, let's get the real experience. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It does. The best testimonials ever are the unfiltered ones. And I think that's what's important when you, first off, you have to ask for them, knowing that people want to say yes. And
Yep.
then you need to guide them, which is, I want you to tell your experience unfiltered. Trust me when I'm using it to edit as appropriately based on what I'm trying to showcase. But please just show up unfiltered. That is what I need, because some of the content will be really relevant to the highlight reel, and some of it will be really relevant to how I go to market with my product, my integrity, and how I show up, because there'll be light bulbs that go off that say, I never realized how important that was until you told me it was important to you. And
Yeah.
so I want to shift this because I love where we're leading, which is, where do we use these? Like, it's, please don't just ask and then don't use them. Like, please, 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 please,
Oh
please,
my
please,
gosh.
please. So give us your expert opinion. Where do you use these? to be
Yeah.
really effective to create movement, which is ultimately what we're looking for, future
Yeah.
buyers.
Yeah, I love that. That's such a great question. And you know, hopefully as we're building our businesses online, so I help people guest speak on podcasts as well, right? And so I'm helping people, teaching them how to get on podcasts, how to find podcasts, how to get on them, and then also the stories to tell, what to say, when to say it, right? And I think the better we can be as online business owners that are helping people have that transformation, the more we can work their stories into our stories. To answer your question, we need to start telling their stories. We need to start telling our stories through their filter, right? To let people know our customers beginning, middle, end point, right? So someone, for example, Don Gadden jumps in my what I call the influence army, right? And she's not returning. She's literally being asked to guest speak on podcasts, but is scared to do it, right?
Mhm.
She's like not replying to those emails, and then take her through my course, right? And now she's booked on like 6 podcasts for the month, and we're at the beginning of the month, right? And so that's what we want to do. We want to let people know, hey, like I had a customer, Dawn, who was scared to speak on podcasts, and now she's out there crushing it, right? And that's real life, and that's exciting to people. Yeah. Does
It
that?
is. And I think what I'm hearing, which is so important, is you've got to think about your client journey and everybody who might encounter you at that 50,000 feet saying, you don't know my name yet, but I'm watching. And you're thinking about what are their pivot points and what might be their uncertainties, what might be their concerns, what might be the things and the limits that get in their way. And I want you to show up with an example that they can relate to. And I think one of the most important breakthroughs I had in one of my own masterminds, it was advice given to me, was I was writing a copy. I was writing about a program or service, and I was talking about, what we were due for the transformation. And I had, of course, testimonials integral to that story. And the comment made by the person in the mastermind is, that's a great testimonial, but it doesn't show the point you're trying to make. And so I want you to be thinking, what I hear from you is think about the pivot points. Think about the points that could be made with somebody else's social proof, because the social proof will speak 10 times at least louder than you saying, I will help you. And so I love the example. Congratulations to your client who's winning in a big way, because it shows confidence. And when we're influencing people and you influence your army, that's a big part of what you do, is we're trying to gain trust. We're trying to establish we're the right person to guide you. And here's other people we've successfully had results with, because remember this, peeps, everybody listening, just in case you need it for the 1,000th time this week, people do not want to pay for your time. They want to pay for the result. And so the social proof of a video story, person to person, has huge impact. So to get a great testimonial, we've talked about, think about the pivot points. We talk about just ask, please just ask, but you have some insights. What questions go in to make a great testimonial outcome that you can use to grow your business?
I love that. That's such a good question. And I want to tell everybody too that's watching and listening, like you've got your iPhone or your Galaxy or whatever it is. This is literally all you need, right? So we can get hung up and I need this, I need that, this, that, and the other thing. No, all you need to do is have your 3 questions ready to go, have your phone ready to go. So if you happen to be with a client, right? Oftentimes I'm in person with my client, but you can get it right away, right? And just the tip number 1, clean the lens. Always clean the lens. Everybody forgets to
That's me on
clean the
occasion.
lens, right? Okay. And I would say, I'm sort of evading your question just for a moment, but another great time to get a testimonial is like this. Like you and I, let's say we have a great interview here and everything's great. And at the end you go, gosh, Mischa, that was amazing. You added so much value. It's a great time for me to ask you, hey, real quick, can you just give me, 30 seconds on your experience with me? Right. So I want everybody to know, like, look for that window of opportunity. If you have a customer and they have that success point, that transformation point, take advantage of that right away. Like, don't
Mhm.
hesitate. Don't think you need to set up this whole thing. Like, you
I
can
love
grab it
that.
on a Zoom call in the moment. Yes?
Yes. Yes, yes,
Awesome.
yes.
Yes, yes. Okay, so to the question, so you spoke to it. We want to get the customer journey, right? So I always want to know, hey, what was your life like before you met me, or where were you struggling? So if it's someone with podcasting, right? I'm gonna say, well, what was your scenario? Don, for example, Catherine as well had the same thing. They're like, we were avoiding the emails that were coming to us saying guest speak. And like, right, and I was there too. I was like, I used to hate that email because I was like, I don't know what to say, right? But anyway, so we want to get the before. What was your before?
Hmm.
I like to get the before at a minimum. The before. How'd you find me? Right? Referral, online marketing. Who knows? I met you at a networking event. I don't know. How'd you find me? Right? And then obviously, what's your life like now? What's your experience now? Like, oh my gosh, I'm so confident to speak on podcasts. Dawn, when she had this transformation, and she was dying to give me a testimonial, right? And she wanted to tell the after. Like she was like, I'm on so many podcasts right now. So anyway, to answer your question, you want to know, I always like to get before, how'd you find me? What's your life like now? At a
And I
minimum.
think I'm going to just dial one step deeper because there's a really good insight here. It's not just where did you find me, but where did you find me and what was I saying that
Mhm.
resonated with you? Because in proximity, it is about getting into the right rooms. However, getting into the right rooms is not enough. It doesn't create the movement, it just creates the opportunity for movement. What's different is what did I say that was the zinger that lingered that made you go, ah, there's something here I need to pursue, because that's the whole goal of why we raise our voice and speak, is to spark the curiosity. So I'm going to just dial that one little tip adding to that,
Yeah.
because it's what did I say and where did it connect to you? And here's a hint. I love that you're doing these in testimonials. You should do this all the time with your clients
Yes.
throughout their client journey. What's
Yes.
lingering with you? What did you hear? Because I open my business to all of my clients. They see everything I'm building in the back end. They go through the experiences when I'm iterating for the first time, and I'm showing them my thinking process, because what's important to me from my client growth is I want to teach you to think. I don't need you to be a mimic of me. I want you to think, and I'll show you how I'm thinking so you can make better decisions for yourself. So the fact that you have 3 questions, you can say, I can do this on the moment. And I will always have my antenna up that says, that could be great. Could I capture it? And please, when you're capturing it, ask, do I have your permission to use your name and business in publication? I will tell you, having worked again with the rules of the big gurus, legal testimonials and legal release are important. Make sure you have some written documentation that said you can use it.
Yeah.
Never take things out of context if you're going to accredit it as a quote to someone else. That's just poor class. Don't belong there. Please make sure you elevate your game. And so I want to ask you,
Yeah.
you built this really remarkable career. You get flown all over the place to create and capture video testimonies, not just for your own business that you're building today, but prior to that, to helping other business owners do it as well. I ask all of my business owners this because I think it's interesting and fascinating. I want you to amplify what's working on your business. What works for you right now to build your personal brand and business?
I love that. And before I answer it, I want to make sure to say two things because I think I
Mhm.
didn't answer two questions you asked me earlier
Sure.
sufficiently. So the bonus question, right? We've got those three
Mhm.
questions in our pocket. What what where was your life before? How'd you find me and what did I say? What resonated? I love that. How you added that. What's your life like now? Bonus question. I do this on every testimonial. When everybody thinks we're done, when we think we're done, I say, hey, what's the one thing that you wished you'd have said if when I hit stop, like what's the one thing that you're like, man, I wished I'd have said that and you would have regretted not
Mm,
saying it. And that usually just opens up beauty.
I bet it does.
So just everybody tip there real quick.
Bonus.
Yes, bonus. I meant to say that. We had an interview before we had tech issues and I was like,
We
"Oh, I
did.
forgot to tell him the bonus question."
I
Um,
love it.
and then obviously where you use your testimonials on your funnels, on your websites, in your emails. You take that raw video testimonial and you can pull transcripts and so you can obviously use the videos on your funnels. You can repurpose clips onto your social media all over the place. There's just so many places that you can use video testimonials. And key is capture that story, learn that story, and start telling it everywhere you can.
Mhm.
So there you go. Thank you for letting me share that. And
Yeah,
then,
absolutely. Great nuggets to add for sure. And
yeah,
here's my thought. If you don't know how to repurpose, please don't spend hours learning. Get somebody to help you.
get somebody to do it. There's so many people that
They are great
are
people.
willing to do it at great prices. Anyway, what's working right now is just doing this. A guest speaking on podcasts is working so good right now. I just think it's such a great way to connect with people like you, other amazing
Mhm.
hosts, to add value. I just show up. I'm like, I want to serve. I want to provide value to your audience, and then it's just such a powerful way to get your message out and network and build relationships. So
It is. The power of the conversation cannot be underestimated. Mischa, how do people find you, connect you, and learn more about not only the Influencer Army and the work you're doing as well?
yeah, so I would tell everybody go to badzuck.com, badzuck.com, badzuck.com. You can see what I'm up to. I usually have an offer there or something like that, or a freebie or something. But yeah, that's the best place to find me.
Okay, guys, go find this gentleman, connect to him, because I want you to take this episode and I want you to not only listen for the nuggets, I want you to apply yourself. Having video testimonials and having new stuff constantly with past clients, with paid clients, with people you just simply collaborate with really adds so much richness to your business momentum, because social proof is the highest currency. And we started our episode with this nugget. 87% of your buyers make a faster business decision based on video content. If you have somebody else speaking on behalf of that, I would challenge the number and make an assumption that it would climb north. So Mischa, thank you for being our guest today. Everybody, that's it. That's a wrap on another great episode. We will see you all on the next episode. See you soon.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on another amazing episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell Rapin. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss another great episode. And be sure to visit christinecampbellrapin.com/podcast to get a free resource on how to master your marketing message. We'll see you all on our next episode.